attention.
I thought it was a requisite. We were all supposed to be drunk.
Yeah. Yeah, you have a rotary dildo, Travis. It goes up your ass. That's what you have.
You wish, buddy. You wish. My mustachioed friend of Elm Street. But anyway, Johnny, I just wanted to give you the chance to throw all that out. Thanks again for taking the time to talk with us about BTK. So now that we've done Berkowitz with you, BTK, Jim Jones,
Ramirez,
Kemper,
and Kemper, yeah.
Ramirez.
We did Ramirez too, bud.
We did Ramirez, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Damn, that's a lot of shows. You're right up there with Ray Johnson at this point. So that's pretty damn good.
And me.
Blake. Blake, Blake, I feel like Blake's a little bit like BTK. He's always going to get his credit for things. You know, he's like, and me.
Absolutely.
Don't forget
Absolutely.
me.
I like being part of the group, even if the group are a bunch of fucking bottom feeders like you. I
get bottom feeder. That's
well, awesome. I don't mean Johnny. Johnny is very distinguished. I mean you and Dick. So.
Distinguished, huh? Johnny, you ever been called distinguished before?
I hope not.
And hopefully not by a man who steals from people's homes. Hey,
Travis, he has a distinguished taste in guitars. Let me just say that.
Yeah. You know, Blake doesn't actually know how to play guitar. He just likes Guitar Hero, and he thinks it's a big deal.
That's actually not true at all. I'm a former touring and studio guitarist. He's drunk with power and I don't know whatever the fuck else it is he's got over there.
I'm drunk with a phone is really the problem.
He's drunk. He's got some Colombian nose powder over there. He's all fucked up.
Well, if you're going to do it, you might as well go the whole 9 yards. Don't be a pussy. Do some coke. All right. Well, Johnny, thanks again, man. And I'll tell you what, we'll hit you up soon. It's going to be a hell of a lot shorter than a year next time. How's that sound?
That sounds great, man. Thanks, guys.
I'm glad we're not all dead and we're still around. So we'll talk soon, all right, buddy?
All right, take care.
All right, later on. And that was Johnny Trevisani, the serial killer quote of the day, which is awesome. And, you know, the book, and it's on Amazon, as he said, and you can get the app, which I have. And we used to post them. We need to go back to that because I love it. But, Blake, we were talking before the show came on about where our horror adventures have taken us. And while Jurassic World, Fallen Kingdom may not be, like, horror, I mean, some of the things that happen in it are horrific, so let's talk about it a little bit. We won't give out spoilers. We'll just talk a little bit. I mean, not spoilers to the plot anyway. I'm going to talk very vaguely about some things. But, Blake, let's talk a little bit about Jurassic Park Fallen Kingdom. So how did you feel about Jurassic Park Fallen Kingdom?
I liked the film for the most part. There were some things that I wish had been gone into a little bit more detail, maybe had been more present, specific things at specific people and things like that. But I thought the film overall was really good. It definitely had the jump factor that the first several Jurassic, well, all of the Jurassic Parks have that sort of jump. Almost, I want to call it a jump scare, but it's not really scary per se. It's that jump factor. They have that quickening of the pulse and their racing of the racing of the heart.
Yeah,
and the endorphins and the rush and all that good stuff. So it had all that. It was very faithful in keeping those true as the original film did back in =93. So I thought it was overall pretty good. I really liked the leads. And again, one of my favorite things in a franchise is when the new film picks up directly where the last film leaves off. So there's not really a question of, well, what the hell's happening here? As we've seen with some of the horror stuff, oftentimes a film will pick up and it doesn't pick up anywhere that the last film left off at. Perfect example of that would be Halloween 4. It doesn't pick up after Halloween 3, and Halloween 3 doesn't pick up after Halloween 2. It's technically, they're in the same series, but it's not, let's just say there's not anything clearly defining that connects all of them other than the obvious. So I like when a film does that. The effects were good, but again, it was CGI. There was a lot of it. But there was still some practical stuff, but there was a lot of CGI. There were some funny moments. There were some action-packed moments. There were some scary moments, a little bit in there. But overall, I thought the film was okay. Do I think it was as good as the one before it? No. But, I mean, it was still good. There's something about that other one. And I think it was just the interaction between Chris Pratt and all of the Raptors. You know, that sort of story there. And then Vincent D'Onofrio making his little cameo in the first, Jurassic World, the one that came out before. I liked that. And there was a good cameo in this one. I'm sure you and Vic caught it. Ted Levine, who was the Buffalo Bill in Silence of the Lambs, and he was good in this. It still sounds the same too. He has his voice and his vocal delivery hasn't changed since 1991. It's still the same.
I fucked me. A lot of those things you said, I agree with. I think this was the worst of all of them, though, and that's just. I just want to say though, I like all of the movies. Jurassic Park 3 had its issues, but like out of all of them, this is the one I like the least. And the main reason for this, and this is not a spoiler, you can watch the fucking previews to see this, is that a lot of it did not take place on the island because they've got that volcano that's racing all the animals off the island. So a lot of the movie takes place not on the island, not on Isla Nublar or Isla Sorna, any of those. So you get this movie where it's a fish out of water type thing, and that's how the end of Lost World was, and I didn't like the end of Lost World, and I didn't like a lot of this movie being, which is weird, by the way, that I don't like that, because there was a video game when we were younger on PlayStation called Dino Crisis, which I thought was fucking cool. And I wanted them to do a movie like that, right? Then they did it with the Jurassic movie, a couple of the Jurassic movies, and I didn't like it. And it's only because, to me, it should be at the park. That should be a totally separate type of film series. So anyway, once I've seen it at the park and on the island, that's where I want to see it. So I know it's a stupid thing to be annoyed about, but I didn't like that very much. My only other big complaint about it, other than some of the lapses in logic, which not a big deal, is, and I guess this is a spoiler, but it's not really a plot spoiler, is that Jeff Goldblum was on the fucking marquee as one of the people in the movie, and then he was in it for 2 minutes doing absolute nothing. And I was like, really? Really? You know what I'm saying, Blake? I was like,
yeah.
Fuck you. I wanted more of Jeff Goldblum. That's all I'm saying. Give me some Sam Neill in the third one, if they do one. Didn't get a great score on Rotten Tomatoes. It's rotten right now at 50%. And that's audience score, not critics. Critics actually kind of liked it. Not that I give a fuck what people think anyway, but anyway,
you don't.
I mean, if you have Movie Pass or something, go check it out. Don't go out of your way to see it, and yep, that's all I got to say about that. Your horror adventures take you anywhere else recently, buddy?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, just sort of all over the place. There's been a lot of the Gracefield incident, obviously, and then Hell House LLC, and then I actually started watching some of the Twilight Zone stuff, which I guess would still be considered sort of horror. I started the one with that I think it was Vic's episode with the boxer.
Poor Vic. No, that's mine. That's mine.
Oh, yours. Sorry. Yeah, I started that one, and I haven't finished it yet, but started that one, and then I've kind of just been going back through some oldies. I watched Vampire in Brooklyn, and I had never seen that one all the way through. It's sort of an underrated Wes Craven classic, in my opinion. And then most of the new stuff, I've been watching The Monster Project, Hell House LLC, The Gracefield Incident. I recommend them, guys. If you haven't seen Monster Project, the fuck are you doing with your life?
I still have it written down here to watch it.
Please do, because like I said, every once in a while I recommend a really good movie. Sorry, and and this one is just as good. And if you're a fan of practical special effects, you're really going to like this one because it's a modern day horror film, but it uses a lot of practical stuff. And it's got a variation. There's skinwalkers, vampires, there's demons, there's gratuitous blood, violence, and there might be a little bit of TNA in there too. I don't recall exactly, but there's certainly scantily clad women involved, and also drug use and just general mayhem and chaos.
You like blood, violence, freaks of nature? Yeah, good stuff.
Yeah, it sounds like a typical weekend for you and Vic. It's good stuff.
Well, since you threw it out there about a typical weekend for me and Vic, it's Vic's turn. Talk about our horror adventures, Vic.
We went to Days of the Dead in Indianapolis, which is always one of my favorite conventions. Really, I mean, I went for Scott Hall because I needed him to sign my figure, but we got to do photo ops with Bill Moseley as Chop Top and Sid Haig as Captain Spaulding from House of a Thousand Corpse. So that was pretty awesome. And I love Slip Off the Camera with Bill Moseley. That was great.
What happened with Bill Moseley?
My daughter.
Oh, your daughter happened to Bill Moseley, is that?
Yeah, it kind of is about accurate. Well, we took a picture with Bill Moseley, and the picture, we took a picture of him in his Chop Top gear, and it looks like Isla's flipping off the camera in the picture. Now, she's actually giving the peace sign, but her fingers, like, flipped back to where it looks like she's flipping off the camera. So it was pretty great.
Daddy must be proud. Mom, probably not so much. But,
Daddy was very proud, I have to say.
That's all that matters.
Yes, so as far as Scott Hall is concerned, let me make sure that I have this correct, because, you guys assume I don't know anything about it. Scott Hall was originally Razor Ramon, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yep.
so how is he these days? And was Diesel there? Oh, shit, not Diesel.
Actually, technically he was originally Scott Hall. He was originally Scott Hall.
He was originally Scott Hall, but I'm talking in the heyday of the WWE.
Stud. And then he was the Diamond Stud. And then he was Razor.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
Well, Vic met Scott Hall. I saw him walk by a couple times. I saw Gene Simmons walk by too, Blake.
Okay.
I really got Razor Ramon. That's what I got a Razor Ramon figure signed.
Oh, you have one of the classic Razor Ramon figures, I guess. That's awesome.
Yeah, I got a double pack with Shawn Michaels and Razor Ramon from their ladder match, and I had Shawn Michaels sign it in Atlanta back in February, so I lucked into Scott Hall being in Days of the Dead, so it worked out.
Well, did anybody go see Diesel? Oh shit, Kevin Nash. I'm sorry. I keep for me the heyday was when they were in their former their former names, WWE. I liked them both in that. So was he there too? Wasn't Kevin Nash there?
Yeah, they were in a room together. I didn't have him sign anything, but I talked to him a little bit while I was having Scott Hall sign my figure. So I've met Kevin Nash before, so it is what it is.
Yeah, I didn't try to meet either of the wrestlers. I don't know what it is, but like as much as I love wrestling, I always prefer to meet the horror people. I don't know why. It just is what it is. Mainly because wrestlers don't have like mini posters for me to get signed, so it doesn't do me much good.
I grew up with wrestling, and like I said, it wasn't my choice. My father was propositioned to join NWA because that was in the late '70s, early '80s, and he's 6'2", a couple 100 pounds, big, and Goulas had already just employed a couple of other people that would go on to be big-time wrestling stars. And my dad and my mother had actually stopped dating for a time, and my mother was dating the one that Goulas had hired that apparently he was so poor, guys, that he had lawn furniture in his house and they were eating ramen noodles every day because those wrestlers didn't make shit back then. But he got arrested at a Waffle House because he assaulted one of the servers, and then they called the police on him. And the police had to escort him out, and they took him to jail. So it took 2 cop cars full of policemen to get this son of a bitch off of the server. We're talking probably 82, 81, 82. Poffo, Randy Poffo. So it was all fucked up. Me and my mom went out on like, they dated